Hey guys, welcome back in. It's the Madman Betting Podcast. Thank you guys for stopping by, spending a few minutes with us. We appreciate it. Real quick, before we get started, guys, get over to madmanclub.com. Get signed up today. Make sure you follow us on all the social media. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, over on YouTube. We're on the podcast platform. Guys, you can follow us everywhere. And when you do, make sure you smash that follow button. Smash that like button. Tell a friend to get over to TikTok or get over to Facebook, get over to YouTube, get over to the Madman Club and get registered today. Guys, we've been giving our plays away all year long, all the way through the Super Bowl. And of course, the season is about over with, but we're going to continue through the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl's over, we'll dive back in, start studying, getting ready for next year. Hopefully we'll have as good a year next year as we've had this year. Guys, we're up somewhere around 150 some units. I'm not on the website right now, but I'll check and make sure we are. But we are right around 150 units plus for the year. A pretty big season. Guys, you know how our plays are. One unit, $100. You're up $15,000. If you're a $10 player, you're up $1,500. It's been a pretty good season so far. So we appreciate everybody who has jumped on board. Hopefully we can grow this podcast, grow the madmanclub.com, make this army bigger and bigger, and take that train to the station and continue to cash tickets. That's what it's all about, guys, is cashing these tickets week in and week out. So make sure you get over to madmanclub.com and make sure you follow us on all those platforms. Guys, let's dive in. If you did get over to madmanclub.com, you know we gave away the Madman Dog of the Week, which was also our play of the year last Monday, as we took the Miami Hurricanes plus the 8.5 against Indiana. And guys, what a story Indiana is. And this Mendoza kid, a humble kid, guys, well deserving of the Heisman, well deserving of the national championship. I am tickled that Indiana won the game. But at the end of the day, plus 8.5 with the Miami Hurricanes. And if you've been watching this podcast, you'll realize that early on when the playoff committee decided to put in the teams that they wanted, I made a comment, and I've mentioned it several times on this podcast. Miami lost a couple games during the regular season. They did go back and look at head-to-head. They ended up putting Miami in, and I was in disagreement with it. I thought Notre Dame deserved to be in the college playoff. They were not. And I told everybody on my podcast, anybody that I spoke to, Miami realizes they got a second chance. Miami is going to be a team that will make it to the national championship because now they understand what second chances are all about. That's exactly what happened. Miami's defense showed up against Texas A&M, had a close game against Mississippi, took care of business. Ohio State, same situation. They get into the national championship, and I think they gave just a little bit too much respect to Indiana and not enough respect for Miami's defense. Early in that game, we realized Miami's defense could hang. They went down 10-0, but they kept hanging around 10-0 at halftime. They make good adjustments at halftime. They've done it all year. Miami comes out in the second half. Defense begins to wreak havoc. Offense finally starts clicking. Miami ends up losing the game, but covering the 8.5 as they lose by 6 on a late field goal by Indiana, and then a turnover by Carson Beck. And guys, you guys know my feeling on Carson Beck. I do not think that he's all that great. He's been put around some really good players who have performed when they needed to help bail him out. He didn't get bailed out on Monday. Indiana wins the national championship. I'm tickled that they did. I like Kurt Signetti. I like Mendoza. I think he'll do good things with the Vegas Raiders because I have a feeling that's who they're going to take. He'll get mentored, I'm sure, by Tom Brady, with Brady being a percentage owner in the Vegas Raiders. They'll do some stuff to get him ready. They'll slowly bring him along. They may end up starting him, but they'll definitely slowly bring him along into the offense. And Tom Brady will mentor him to make him a good NFL quarterback. So there you go, guys. Did not have any NFL plays last week. We did the week before. Not a good week. I think we went 1-3 on our NFL plays 2 weeks ago. This past weekend, though, guys, how about the Denver Broncos basically getting Sean McDermott fired? So he got fired Monday after the game. Bo Nix breaks a leg, breaks his ankle. You got Trevor Siemian starting for, Trevor Siemian? I believe so. Starting for Denver. Peyton thinks that he's going to do just as good a job as Bo Nix and that they still definitely have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. Interesting game against New England coming up. NFC, it's an NFC West semifinal to get to the Super Bowl. The Rams in Seattle. Seattle just completely blew the doors off San Francisco. Was never close, and they did it 2 times in 3 weeks. So that's going to be very interesting how that shakes up. I don't think Seattle's as good as the last 2 times they've played San Francisco. I don't think the Rams are as bad as they've looked the last couple of weeks against Carolina and Chicago. So this is a game where I think you'll see a little better performance out of the Rams. You'll see the Seattle Seahawks regress a little. You might even see Darnold finally do Darnold things, which we haven't seen this year. He's had a couple little spots where things didn't work out the way they should, but he hasn't had that game where he just turned the ball over, made mistake after mistake, and we all know he's capable of doing that. So, guys, we'll be interested to see how that game shakes out. Right now, I've got a lean toward the Rams. I really believe this is Stafford's year to go. They got a ton of weapons. I think they can play with Seattle. I know Seattle's got a hell of a defense. They got a hell of a team, not just a defense. But I really believe, as much as these teams know each other, I think Sean McVay will finally create a couple situations where Stafford can get them a lead and maybe keep it. And I do think the defense will show up for the Rams. So I believe I'm going to lean with the Rams as of right now in that game. The Denver game against New England, it's a tricky one. I don't think that the line should be what it is. I don't know that Bo Nix injury is a 6-point move. So that game's a little interesting. I don't know which way I'm gonna lean on the team, but I very well may lean on the over because I believe these two teams can score some points. All of that, of course, is weather-based, so we're not sure exactly how this weather is going to be in the next few days from Midwest all the way to the East Coast. It's going to be interesting, and it could play a big part in that game with Denver and New England. Guys, we don't have a ton to do on the podcast today. We want to talk a little bit about moving into next year. Guys, we had a really good year this year, 150 some units on the plus side. So we did a pretty good job there. Dog of the week, not as good as it has been the last few years. Struggled with a couple of those. But guys, we will dive back in as soon as the Super Bowl is over and begin to talk about how we're going to make some changes with the website. We're going to make some changes on how our plays are distributed. We were working on a 5-unit max play, so 1 through 5. We're going to change that. We're also going to include next year our game of the month. We're going to have our game of the year. We're going to continue to have our dog of the week. We're also going to possibly have maybe AFC games of the month, NFC games of the month. We're going to look at some different ways of capturing the market. We're going to work on a 10-unit basis instead of a 5-unit basis because we feel like we've got some of these plays that we can really max out some of the dollars that we try to invest and get a return on. So I believe if we can go to a 10 max unit play, which would be, of course, a $100 play for a $10 bettor, $1,000 play for a $100 bettor. But we've had some plays this year that we could have maxed out at a 10 unit play that were just that way. They ended up winning. For example, we made the play on Monday night, a 7-unit play, I believe, on our game of the year, Miami plus the points against Indiana. We could have very easily made that a 10-unit play. I really, really, really liked that game. And I liked, of course, the way it ended. We ended up on the winning side of that. So 1 through 10 units on our plays. We're also going to do a little more diving into maybe some of the prop plays. Not a ton at this point, but we are going to dive into some props. We're going to dive into a few quarters and half bets. So first quarter, halftime, full game. We will not be doing basketball. We did talk a little bit about that, myself and my team. We're going to stick with football. We feel like that's our gravy. That's the one we feel like we can win the most money. So I know you don't get to hear a ton in the off season as far as football is concerned or making any plays. However, do not forget that we are still going to be grinding through the summer months to get us ready when August gets here. Also, our AFC, our NFC divisional winners, we'll be giving those out, who we think might win those divisions. We'll be giving out our win totals. You know, we had a couple plays this past year. Carolina as one of our sleepers to win the division. They did. We had Pittsburgh as a sleeper. We did not have them winning the division. Glad they did. Of course, see how that ended up with Tomlin being gone. But we had a few plays. We had a couple sleepers. We had some win totals. Pittsburgh over their win total. Carolina over their win total. We had some unders on some win totals. I think Alabama on an under on their win total. So we had a few win totals that cashed in. We're going to have several more as we get ready to go into 2026-27 football season. So, guys, a little bit more about the NFL. As everybody knows, McDermott fired, Harbaugh fired, Tomlin fired, McDaniel's gone in Miami. Wow, there's 10 openings in the NFL right now. Well, there was. The Giants hired Harbaugh, so I think he finalized his contract. Pittsburgh has talked to a few different people, so they're still in search of a coach. Baltimore, I believe, is still in search for a coach. Miami hired Green Bay's defensive coordinator. But a ton of things going on in the NFL. The NFL will look and be a little different next year, as there's a third of these teams that do not have coaches right now. So that's going to be an interesting NFL season next year. And also teams that didn't make the playoffs that I think maybe next year will make the playoffs. Those are more things we're going to talk about as well through the summer. We'll see how this coaching thing goes. Guys, what about the college football season also? Indiana wins it all. The teams that got in, you got teams now that are spending the money. Virginia Tech went out and got James Franklin, as you know. They're spending a ton of money. Texas Tech went right back to spending as soon as the season was over with. They have reloaded. Texas has went out. They've reloaded. Arch Manning, probably going to be your Heisman front runner as the season begins to kick off in 26. They went out and spent a bunch of money. Miami's going to reload. They're spending money. Georgia Tech, there's a ton of teams, guys, spending money. And all year long, I talked about some of these teams and leveling the playing field. I got a lot of blowback from people who said, no team going to win it with 3 and 4 stars. No team's going to win it with just having a bunch of 4 stars. No team's going to win it this way. It's always going to be the 5 stars, and it's always going to be this, and it's always going to be that. Guys, I'm telling you, I watch it on a daily basis. A lot of things I say on this podcast, I say it from experience and from watching the things I see. Indiana just won the national championship with a bunch of 3 and 4 star players, and probably not that many of them. So when you sit back and you say, there's not a team that can win it with 3 and 4 stars, why can't they? Indiana just did it. Indiana did it with a coach who came from James Madison 3 years ago. So who's to say that Tulane couldn't go map that same situation? Who's to say that a team like Appalachia State couldn't go map that same situation? Load up with a bunch of 3 and 4 stars. Because we all know when you get into college football and you're a 4-star rated player, they're going to make you better. They're going to take a 3-star and make them better. So is it really a 3-star once they start, or do they go to a 3.5 or 4-star? Does a 4-star inch up to a 4.5 or 5-star? Does 20 4-star players, can they do the same thing as 10 5-star players? So that's a lot to think about as we go into 2026. Money is what will rule college football. It's unfortunate, but it's true. The reason is they're going to go buy a championship. Texas Tech spent the money, got into the playoffs. Miami spent the money, got into the playoffs. Indiana spent some money, got into the playoffs. These teams are spending the money to get the teams ready to go get whatever players they need to be into the playoffs or to get into the playoffs. And I think that's going to continue. But I also think, as a lot of people have disagreed with me about, is that there's going to be some team that we would never expect to get into the playoff and make a deep, deep run, like a Tulane, like a North Texas, like a team from down south who has the same resources as a Texas, like a South Florida who sits down there in a hotbed, a Georgia Tech who is sitting in a hotbed. We all know there's a ton of football players in Florida. There's a ton in Texas. There's a ton in Georgia, South Carolina. Just because it's South Carolina does not mean that right across the border down toward Georgia Tech or someone of that nature, South Florida, down south of Florida and Miami, or over on that West Coast, that South Florida couldn't go out and get a bunch of 3 or 4 stars. That a team like North Texas couldn't go do the same thing. Indiana just did it, guys. So stay tuned. 26-27 college football, and they may even go to 16 teams, which will make it more fun to watch, because then you got more teams getting in. You got a chance for some of those teams like North Texas or a Tulane or somebody else like that to get in, an Oregon State, a Washington State. So let's enjoy it while we've got it. Let's enjoy the fact that we have a huge playoff now in college football. Let's enjoy the ride, because what a fun season it was. And guys, I can't tell you, I've enjoyed watching Indiana play all year. I hope everybody out there has too. They really deserved it. But man, what a feel-good story from the word go for Indiana, a team that's not won in decades, not just years, decades they haven't won. So let's just enjoy it. Let's get ready for 26-27 NFL and college football. First, we got to finish out this season. We got about 3 weeks left, guys. Got playoffs coming up this weekend, Super Bowl a couple weeks away, but it won't be long. We'll be talking about the draft, who's going to be picking, I guess, number 2 through whatever, because we know where Mendoza's going. He's going number 1 to the Raiders. We begin to talk about those win totals and divisional wins, who's going to win the divisions, college football, who our sleepers are. We'll dive back in. Guys, February will be over, and July and August will be here before we know it, and we'll be right back into college football season. So let's have fun. Let's enjoy it while we can. We'll take a break after the Super Bowl, and we'll be right back at it shortly thereafter. Guys, like we said, we're going to change the way we bet, change our unit play. We're going to have a whole podcast talking about that probably as soon as the season's over with. And then, guys, we're going to get right back at it. But for now, today, that is a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you get over to madmanclub.com. If you got over there last week, you got our play on Miami plus the points on that dog of the week. And what we turned loose was our game of the year, Miami plus the 8.5. Get over there and get registered today. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. Make sure you follow us on X. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Get over to YouTube. You can watch all of our reels. Watch the full podcast over on YouTube. All of our podcasts are also over on the podcast platform. Guys, we've enjoyed it. It's been a great season. We'll finish out these last couple weeks. That's a wrap for today's show. Guys, do one thing for me. Continue to bet smart and bet like a madman.